Hi, it's Dina and Rocky. Say hi, everybody. So I set my mat up, but then of course Rocky had to come up and keep me company, so he took mommy's mat. But that's okay, because I could still do this little segment. Say hi, baby. I could still do this little segment just laying down next to Rocky. So I have a few props here. What I want to go over today is a version of a hamstring stretch, a supine hamstring stretch. Supine means lying on your back. So, hi, baby. Isn't he the cutest? Okay, yes. We were just playing before. So, anyway, a supine hamstring stretch. You know, one of the major contributors to a common type of lower back discomfort or pain is tight hamstrings. So, I'm going to show you a safe and effective hamstring stretch. I'm going to show you a couple of variations of it, of this version. There are variations of this particular version. So one of the most important things is to try to get your spine in a straight neutral position. The depth of the stretch that you will feel on your hamstrings, the depth of that is really going to be determined by the alignment of your spine, position of your pelvis and your hips. So everybody's spinal alignment is different. Everybody's spine shape is different, as I always say. So you might need to prop yourself up with a pillow or two, especially the tighter you might be, right? So for instance, when we start to get into this positioning of the stretch, when you bring your leg up, if your head is like this and you're really, really tight and you can't get your leg up without your hips tucking back or anything like that, I really advise you to get a pillow or two and just prop so that you don't shrug up into your shoulders. So start with a small little prop, elevation, maybe a folded up towel or something like that, and then see how it goes. If you have questions, you can video me and I can guide you through everything. The other thing I have here is a strap or a yoga belt. You can use like a tie from a bathrobe or an old necktie or even a rolled up towel or just a towel to put over your foot or your leg. The first version I'm going to show you is with no props at all, meaning not using this wire. I'm tucking in the wire, thinking about that. The wire from the microphone, without using a strap at all. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is find your way down onto your back. So you're going to lie down on your back, and then you're going to assess, first how your head and neck feel. And then depending on what happens when we start to do the stretch itself, then you can maybe prop up more if you think you need to. Okay, so the first thing is to find the place where you're in the best center or neutral pelvis that you can find. So remember, that means that your pelvis is not tucked back into this rear tilt where you're gripping and really flattening. I don't want these hips rocked back for this version. I want a nice neutral pelvis. Maybe even at times we're going to roll the pelvis forward a bit. But first we want to find that place where we're between the two extremes. No forward tilt, no rear tilt, but a nice neutral, okay? And then from here, what you're going to do is just take your body into that nice long body stretch that I've gone over multiple times. Just reaching. I'm going to move over because I don't know if he's going to go down or not, but okay. So nice long body stretch to start, and then find that place, okay, when you're in that, where you're in that neutral. Your knees will be bent, your feet will be flat. The first thing I'm going to have you do is just, again, feel that body and try to get the best center on your left and right side. Just try to find the best center you can. I'm going to stretch the left leg out long on the mat, trying to keep your hips from rolling or popping, and make sure you don't tuck back, like I said before. And I'm going to bring this right knee in toward your chest. Now here, as you're getting set to do the stretch, pause a minute, hit the pause button. I'm just going to close the door so that he doesn't come back up. We have flooding here. It's been a bad storm, and we live down on the water here, so the streets are flooding, and the dogs are barking every time cars go down and splash and wake the driveways. Okay. So back to where we were. Press play. So the left leg is straight out on the mat and the spine is in a nice neutral centered position, the best that you can get. Now here, excuse me, as we bring the right knee into the chest, as I started to say before, this is one thing that you'll see how tight you are, because as soon as you bring this leg up, if your head and shoulders kind of go like this, and I'm kind of exaggerating, but it could be, this tight, and this could cause tension, and then this leg kind of pops up. So I want you to make adjustments. Perhaps you want to put something underneath the left knee to give a little lift to the knee to help you keep these hips from tucking back. Because what I don't want is this tucking back of your hips to get your leg up to the sky where we go eventually. So let me back up a bit. The objective here is going to be not how far up you can get this leg and don't care about what happens to the rest of your body, okay? It's going to be how straight you can get the leg without, number one, without hyperextending the knee. Number two, without tucking your pelvis into a rear tilt and without losing that openness in your neck, shoulders, and the rest of your spine. So in essence, essentially for this particular version, I want you to really focus on enhancing the neutral spine and lengthening that spine a little bit beyond neutral once we get through the phases of the stretch. Okay, so let's go back to where we just were. We're going to bring that right knee in toward the chest. And as you do this, I want you to just flex and point the foot, roll the ankle around. You can even do the other foot too, wiggle the toes. And just feel your body's response to just this part alone. Just lifting your knee up, your body might want to go like that, like I said before. So adjust, adjust, adjust. And here's the point where you might need to have a little elevation into the head, the neck, and even the upper shoulders or the upper back area. So try to make an adjustment where you feel you can open up in here and not be tucked under and not allowing the tightness in your legs and your hips and your back to create this crushy, pushy feeling, okay? Now the next thing you're going to do here is we're going to just walk the hands around behind the thigh and interlace the fingers, if you can, behind your thigh and just let the foot hang. So right now, if you see, I'm going to pull my shoulders down toward the mat and I'm kind of really feeling and enhancing my natural or neutral spine, rather. And again, make sure if you need to, you put something underneath the knee of the straight leg here, okay? Like a little pillow or rolled up yoga mat or something to that effect. And now what we're going to do is as we keep these fingers interlaced here behind the thigh, you're going to press that thigh away from you until your arms are being stretched out of your shoulders a little bit. Can you see that? My arms are being pulled and stretched out of my back, and I feel that stretch in my shoulders. And then I'm going to just gently pull my shoulders back, opening my collarbones, and trying not to bend my elbows too much, just a little micro bend in my elbows. So I'm keeping my arms straight, and here I'm going to keep pressing my thigh into my hands as I flex my ankle and start to straighten my leg up as much as I can while keeping my arms straight. So I'm continually pressing my thigh into my hands. Now already you'll start to feel a stretch in your hamstrings. Now remember, your hamstrings are the back of your thigh in case you're not sure. There's like 3 major muscles that make up the hamstring group that I'm referring to for this particular stretch. So my ankle is flexed, meaning a flat foot, reaching the heel toward the sky. Now, tightness is going to make all kinds of things happen. As I said before, it's going to make you want to go like this and tuck and pop. So try to just get this leg as straight as you can before you sacrifice the opening in your head, neck, face, and shoulders. I want all of this to stay open, not crunchy and grippy. Okay? The other thing is to not tuck your hips back and really feel this right rear hip coming down toward the floor. So think about your right butt bone, your sitting bone here. I want you to think about that right sitting bone as if it was a flashlight and aim that beam, that beam of light toward the inside of your left ankle, not up toward this foot. So really try to get these hips even. Now, only if you have room for it without losing this open, neutral, long, beautiful spine, you'll start to bend the knee and bring the leg toward your body a little bit. If you have more room, you can bring your hands up toward your calf, your ankle, or your foot. But this is not what I want to see. This is not the goal. What is this? We need the leg to be long and straightened without sacrificing this alignment of the spine. So this way, when we are upright and standing the way we're supposed to stand, the hamstrings respond. This is what I call a functional stretch. If we stretch our hamstrings like this, okay, then we go to stand where our spine is neutral, they're only going to go boing right back into that tightness. Okay, so I'm hoping that this all makes sense. So let's go through this on the left leg. So this is more of a tutorial or something that I want you to understand the concept of what we're looking to get here. And what I'll do is I think I'll follow this video up this week maybe with a friend or a client of mine and somebody who's pretty tight in the hamstrings and back area, so I can show, and hip area, so I can show you the propping that will be necessary to get a nice, beautiful hamstring stretch. So I'll see if I can find somebody who will cooperate and allow me to use them as my model, and then we can kind of couple it with this video, okay? So let's go to the left side. So find that place where you're in the best center you can, props as needed, right leg stretches out long on the mat, putting something underneath the knee if needed. First thing is to just bring that knee towards your chest, grab a hold. Here I'm going outside the shin underneath my knee, and I'm going to flex and point and roll the ankle around a little bit. And I'm going to see, did this make me, is it really tight, is it hard? Or can I open up? Okay, so do the best you can to open up. Then if you feel you can go a little bit further, you're going to bring your hands behind the thigh. This might actually be a little bit better because it's closer to you than outside this leg, right? You gain a couple inches there, depending. So we're going to have the elbows bent, and we're pulling the leg in toward the chest, and we're going to try to square the hips. Okay, now what's going to happen here, my darlings, is we're going to press that thigh into the hands like I did before on the other side. We have the fingers interlaced. So you're going to really press that leg until you get that stretch. You could even feel like your body being pulled. So let that happen, and then pull the shoulders back into a neutral position. Keep pressing the thigh into your hands to get that stretch. Engage the abdominals to find the neutral pelvis. Now, flexing the ankle, keeping the arms straight. Start to straighten this leg. Maybe you'll get here and you'll be like, oh my God, that's enough, and I'm shaking and I'm shaking and I'm shaking. So try that. That's okay. Just try to get the leg as straight as you can without sacrificing, okay? So for this purpose, I'm going to show you, I'm going to straighten my leg as far as I can go without hyperextending my knee and without losing my neutral. Now what's going to happen is this hip is going to want to hike up. So as I said on the other side, think about this sitting bone and try to shine it toward the inside of that opposite ankle, right? So we don't want this hip hiking up. And then if and when you have room for it, you start to pull the leg back, but only to the point where you don't sacrifice that length of the spine. Flex and point the foot. If you feel you can reach without sacrificing your length, then go ahead and reach for the foot or the shin or wherever you can go. But keep a little awareness of what's going on back here. But the most important thing is this. So even if your leg is here, and you're just straight to this point or this degree, but you're not like this. That's what's important. So think about the spine to enhance the stretch of the leg. Okay, now, if you are extremely, extremely tight, that's where the use of a yoga strap or a belt can really, really help, because it's going to bridge the gap of space that you need to get that leg extended and flexed toward you. So knee extension and hip flexion. So I'll just do it with the leg that's closest to you, my left leg, okay? So I'm going to take the strap. Now you can lock a loop into it if you know how to do that, or you can just loop the strap over your foot this way. Okay, so however you decide to use it, what you're going to do is just put it around the ball of your foot. So in case you're not sure what the ball of your foot is, it's that fleshy part, the mound where your toes grow out of. It's that right here, this fleshy part of your foot there where your toes grow out of, I guess, right? Okay, so you're going to put the strap as best as you can on the ball of the foot. That'll encourage the flexion of the ankle that we want to get to. So first thing is, once you get it there, you're just going to bend the knee and bring it up and try to fix your hips, because they're going to want to hike and the spine's going to want to respond to whatever tightness, right? The body responds. The body responds to that. I know I'm bringing my face away from the microphone. I hope that it's not fluctuating too much. I'll fix that as I go on in the months to come, sorry. So anyway, pull your shoulders back, find your neutral spine, and the first thing is give yourself some room on the strap to stretch the leg straight and stretch it away from you first. Just don't push into the back of the knee. I don't want you to hang into the knee joint with a hyperextension. I want you to think, please, of the heel reaching away from the sitting bone and the sitting bone reaching away from the heel. So think about the back of the leg and then think about your spine. I see many people go like this. They just shrug into their shoulders. Their head goes back. They're losing the alignment of the neck. So draw the shoulders down and back, okay? And keep a nice long neck. Straightening the leg away from you and then only pulling it to the point where you don't sacrifice your alignment, including your shruggers. So I always say to people, try to pull from the hands and the elbows, pulling your upper arms down toward the floor to enhance the stretching of the back muscles, which will encourage the stretching here, and the lengthening of the abdominals as we bring that pelvis into that neutral place, maybe a little bit of an imprint, and feel that stretch through the back of the thigh. Feel where the leg is in space and look for it, because it's going to want to go outside the frame of your body, it's going to want to go across the body, and that's another fabulous combination of stretching that we can add. But first, let's just try to find this. So remember, really pay attention to the alignment of your spine and the position of your shoulders. Every now and then, lengthen that spine a little bit beyond neutral, trying to roll the pelvis a little bit forward without losing the lift of the leg, and that'll enhance the stretch back here. And again, check in with this. None of this, okay? And I mean it. If you try this stretch and you're not sure, videotape it, take some pictures, text me, message me. We can set up a little virtual to just go over it, and I can, give you some tips, okay? So again, the rear hip stays down. I think of pulling this down rather than hiking it up. Okay, and we really think of enhancing the length of the spine. Feel free to flex and point the foot a little bit here, but try to really get an awareness of what's going on up in here. We want to keep the shoulders open. Feel the back stretching as well as the leg. Feel that alignment. Think more of the spine, the pelvis, the back of the leg, and the heel, rather than just jamming through the kneecap. Okay, if anything, just bypass that knee joint a little bit. Give me a little micro bend here, so that you want to make sure that you're not into a hyperextension where you can, you're risking the ligament overstretching a little bit. All right, so you're going to have to experiment with this and your alignment and your awareness and your positioning, because we don't want the stretch, or we don't want to feel it where it's focused behind the knee. You're going to feel, depending on your body and your alignment, you're going to feel it in the calf, you'll feel it in the foot, but we really want to make sure we're looking for more of the thigh and the calf than the behind the knee joint. If it's only focused behind the knee joint, we're going to have to rearrange energy, making sure the thigh bone is neutral in the joint, and all these little things to look at. There are a lot of little nuances so that you get the best benefit from this version of the stretch that we're looking for. So I hope that makes sense. And what I would love for you to do is, when you do one side, once you take your foot out and stretch the leg out, I want you to pause here and feel the difference between both sides. So my right leg's jealous, so I'm going to just take my right foot up. But remember to go through the bent knee first, and then give yourself some room on that strap so that you're not pulling like this, but you're stretching the leg. Feel where the leg is in space. Arrange the energy. And check and recheck your pelvis, your spine, your shoulders, your rib cage, all of that. Use the opposite leg to help you stretch out to keep this pelvis from tucking back. If you have to keep the opposite knee bent, just really be aware, because we don't want that to encourage this rear tilt of the pelvis. You're not going to get the best functional stretch of the hamstrings if you allow your body to crunch up and hunch up while we're trying to get this stretch. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you try it, and I hope it feels as good for you as it does for me. I can't stress the importance of proper and safe stretching. So remember, don't force anything. Ideally, we like to just do the stretch, find the place where the stretch is felt, and then breathe into that and see if you can go beyond that a little bit more. I just noticed the window of my husband's studio back there is glaring. The sun finally came out, so I hope it doesn't affect this too much. So, yes, as I was saying, I forgot what I was saying. Shiny thing through the window. So, so till the stretch is felt, and then see if you have room, as I say, to go a little bit further. Back it off, breathe deeply. Remember, breathing is most important. Feed the stretch with the breath. Don't fight it. Try not to succumb to the tightness. Feed the tightness with the breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, give a little bit of a deeper press or pull or push. Just gentle. Inhale, maybe back it off a little bit. Exhale, go a little bit deeper. Find the breath that works for you, that facilitates the move or the stretch or the alignment aspects for you. So hopefully it made some sense to you. I'll review the video, and I usually post everything anyway, because it's all about being real, organic, natural. So have a go at it. Let me know if you have any questions, any feedback, and I will give you a standing hamstring stretch in weeks to come, but I'm hoping this week to get somebody, like I said, to use as a model to kind of couple with this this video, so that you can see somebody that might not have hamstrings, might not be as open as mine, and there are other people that have way more open hamstrings. But remember, flexibility and openness are two different things. So you don't want to, overstretch your ligaments either. So anyway, without getting into all of that, I'm going to say goodbye for now. Let me know what you think. Hit me up with any questions that you have. Stay long and strong. Peace out, beautiful people. Be balanced. Ciao for now. I hope my remote works, and I don't think it is.